Boudica was the queen of a British Celtic tribe called the Iceni, who led an uprising against the conquering forces of the Roman Empire in AD 60 or 61. Boudica claimed her throne from her husband called Prestidigus, but Prestidigus split his throne with the Nero Roman Empire. The time is 60 AD and the Romans have invaded. They have taken over much of southern Britain. On his way to fight Boudica in the north, Nero gained help from some British tribes, although some British tribes weren't happy about this. Nero was ready. He was ready to fight Boudica and claim all of his land. On Boudica's side, trouble was brewing. She wanted to fight back and claim her land. Nero had her whipped in front of her own people, so she stood up and talked to her people. "This land is rich. We could bring wood, silver and gold back to Rome to our people," said Nero. Boudica travels to the important Roman town of Colchester and burns it down. Now Boudica heads to the Roman town of London to also burn it down. This is the statue of Boudica in her chariot in London. This is a map of where Boudica and her army travelled to meet Nero. Meanwhile, the Romans have almost taken over all of Wales. But word gets through to the Romans that Boudica is planning something, so they are briefed and prepared to go to war. But Boudica's army were not going to give up without a fight, so they marched off to where they were going to go to war. So Boudica and her army headed off to war. Boudica nearly doubled the size of Nero's army, with a whopping 20-1 men. It was time to fight, and both sides sounded a war horn in fear of their opponents. Even though the Romans were outnumbered, they had far better protection than Boudica's army, and were also highly trained. Boudica's army, on the other hand, had no training whatsoever and had little protection. Native British tribes blow war horns called cornices to strike fear into their enemies. As the Romans are very highly trained, they split off into groups and protect themselves using their shields. Here is a picture of the Romans protecting themselves from arrows coming in. On the other hand, Boudica's army used long-tipped swords and sharp spears with shields. They are also masters at using chariots. Chariots are two-wheeled carts that are trailed by horses. They also don't fear death. They believe that they will come back stronger in their next life. Even though outnumbered, the Roman Empire were dominating the fight against Boudica's army, with the Roman Empire only having 400 dead and Boudica's army having 80,000. The fight was over and the Romans had won.